Namaskar. Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. So, is Hindu Desh the solution for the battered, attacked people of Bangladesh of Hindu faith? Is this where things are leading up to? To understand the pros and cons, the viability, the feasibility, and everything else around it, let's welcome General Ravi Shankar. General Ravi Shankar, Namaskar and welcome to P Guru's channel. How are you, sir?
Namaskar, and thanks a lot for this joint broadcast. Once again, we put up a naughty problem: is Hindu Desh the solution for Hindus of Bangladesh?
Yes,
It's a
yes.
very interesting discussion we're going to have. So let's start off. Where do you
Yes,
want to
General Ravi
lead me?
Shankar, one of our hottest discussions was where you and I were going on, yeah, looking at this problem from opposite sides about 2 months ago.
Yeah,
And you were explaining how, army cannot go into Bangladesh. At least at that time, the weather wasn't conducive. The weather is beginning to get a little bit warmer, but still, in terms of a lasting solution, there are many ways to look at that. So what we are thinking about is it possible that a small portion of Bangladesh, say 10%, can be carved out and made as Hindu Desh? It's a concept. It could be Sonar Bangla, for example. Could be the another name that it could take. Whatever it is, the point I think I'm trying to make here is viewers are getting a little frustrated, myself included in this, as somebody is trying to accelerate plans to try and disenfranchise. They are trying to throw them out of government jobs. They are trying to kill. They are trying to attack the very hands that fed them a type of at times of duress. I can go on. General Ravi Shankar, take a step back and probably explain to our viewers what would work in your opinion. It doesn't have to be right. It's your opinion after all.
okay. First and foremost, let's put it this way. Before you think of going to saying, okay, we want to have a Hindu Desh or a separate nation or all that, let's understand the conditions of Bangladesh. When you understand the conditions of Bangladesh, then we can examine whether what we are thinking of is feasible or not. Right? Because without understanding these conditions, because making a nation or breaking a nation is largely a political affair. If the politics are not understood, and the politics come from the people themselves, are not
Right.
understood, then we will go off. Then we'll be more emotionally biased than being logical about the whole story. And in any creation or destruction of a nation, there's a lot of logic involved. Right. The first thing is, what's the status of Bangladesh today? I mean, that's the point. That's the first question. It's in a state of anarchy. I have no doubt about it. And I've said it in the last podcast and the podcast. In fact, it's in the state of anarchy which is regressing. It's not progressing, it's regressing. Okay. Uh, the government which is there is pretty unconstitutional. It's not constitutional. It borders on illegality if it crosses 3 months. I think it has crossed already. So, and there's a government which wants to reform and then hold elections. There's a the section of population which wants to hold elections and then reform with their own thing. And there's one section of the population like called the Amavi League which has been marginalized, not being allowed to come into the equation. So there are three different ideologies there. They are in a state of chaos. So politically, it's in a chaotic state. And unless the fundamental politics are okay, then nothing else happens. Okay, economically, Moody's has given the verdict that it's a weak state. It's a weak economy. Inflation, there's that, and there is no way it's going to recover. There's no way. And surprisingly, it's going back to its Pakistani roots because it's opened up equations with Pakistan. The students who wanted to, who are supposed to be the instigators or the brains behind this monsoon revolutions, just want to pass exams free of cost and continue with their leftist ideology and grab power. And now they've started fighting amongst themselves also, incidentally. Colleges have started fighting amongst themselves. So the law and order is pretty loose. And most importantly, what I've seen interacting with the Bangladeshis through media is that they're a vain people. They think they know everything. They're smartest of the lot, and they are the best at everything. And they also have this view that India is their enemy. So large thing. Very few people believe that India has been their benefactor through years. They look at other benefactors, extra regional benefactors like USA and China, who will give them nothing. We know that, but they are vain people who refuse to believe it. And this goes back to not the 71, it goes back generations behind to the fact that East Pakistan was formed. After all, these people have roots from that. So those roots are resurfacing now. The cultural roots, ethnic roots, whatever you call it, religious roots, whatever. Okay, so that is the general state of Bangladesh. So, what is the state of Hindus in this? That's the next question. For the Hindus in Bangladesh, I have no now doubts. Earlier, I had some kind of a hope, but now the situation for them is going from bad to worse. And this is not what I'm saying. This is what international agencies are talking. This is the international opinion, whether it's from USA or from anywhere. Okay. When society like ISKCON is being targeted, which is international in nature and respected all over the world, it's being targeted and trying to be banned and things like that. You understand the mentality of the people who are behind all this. It's not a legal affair. I mean, it's not a affair which has legalities and all. This is more fundamental in nature, right? There's also a feeling which I see with amongst people that Hindus in Bangladesh are those who are supporting the erstwhile Hasina government, and they don't want to get off that. Uh, then there's this move by the current advisor. I don't know who the legal advisor or whoever he is, who wants to convert the government and the state from being a secular country to an Islamic country. So that tells you the mindset of the majority people. Then you've seen the rise of Jamaat in the past few days. I mean, few days, in the 100 odd days, it is this new monsoon revolution has come into being. Okay. And the view which I get from whether it's from social media or formal media or anywhere is that the Hindu today in Bangladesh is a second class citizen, right? And there are views that many want to quit Bangladesh altogether if given a chance. And when BBC's come out with a documentary on the status of Hindus within Bangladesh recently, just 2 days back, 2-3 days back. I know a chap in BBC, so he sent me this whole story. And when I went through that documentary, BBC report, even the BBC feels that Hindus are being discriminated, and not only discriminated, they're being treated badly. There is fear in the Hindu people, the girls, especially the women and the old, that their safety is at stake. And if a channel like BBC can come out with this, then the situation is really bad. Because BBC will always paper over this. After all, the British society as a larger construct, the way I've always felt and looked at it, they're more they lean towards Islam and Muslims rather than towards Hindus. That's the way they are. Right. I am just stating facts so far. So this is the thing that Hindus, the hope is reducing. And this is all despite the fact that they've been given, or rather, a lot of assurances by one and all. Oh, they'll be taken care of. They are our citizens. They are our internal matter. You come and see the state of Hindus. What will I come and go and see the state of Hindus out there? If I go and see the state of Hindus, I'll be treated like them. Because I'm also Hindu. So, what is the guarantee that I'll not be treated differently? So, those things have come into the equation. And so, the state is bad. And will they change? I don't think it will change unless there's an external impetus. What is that impetus? What is it that will make this change is $1 million question first. But on the flip side of it, when a country wants to, or when a people in a country want to become Islamic by nature and veer away from their secular credentials, uh, the hope for them to take care of the minority is less. And when they start making, lame duck excuses, look at India, it's become a Hindu Rashtra where Muslims are targeted and there are no opportunities for Muslims and all that. Without knowing what's happening in India, then you understand, okay, look, these people are completely biased and there's no hope. Look, just as we say they don't know what's happening to Muslims in India, they might turn around and say, uh, you don't know what's happening to Hindus in Bangladesh. Kind of a pro quid quo. But I think it's gone beyond that. Like I said, BBC is the acid test, right? So the acid test being BBC, if BBC goes against the Bangladeshi Muslims, or rather they've given some kind of a thing, then we have to really think. So this is it. This is the status as it is. Now you'll say, let's make a Hindu Desh. Okay. How do you make a Hindu Desh? Okay, desirable. How do you make a Hindu Desh? Can I get that slide up, please?
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
want to explain. On the right is the map of Bangladesh with its districts. On the left are the Hindu population majority place. So, the first question when you look at the area on the left is where do you make that Hindu Desh? That's a $1 million question, right? People say, okay, move it all to Rangpur, which is the northernmost district, and convert into Hindu Desh. This is the normal thing which I get. But what happens to the others? After all, there are how many million people there? 13 million people. 8% of their population, right? 13 million is not a joke. 1.3 crores. How do you make them move all to Rangpur? They have roots there. I mean, I'll bet my bottom dollar to anyone who's listening. What will happen if you're told, okay, this is where you are born and all that, fine. But tomorrow you get off and go and stay in Punjab because that's where you belong. Or say I tell a Sardar who's in Chennai for generations, he said, look, you can't stay here. You're going to get Khalistan in Punjab. Get out of this place and go there. What happens to him? I'm giving you a hypothetical question. Will he be able to go? Will he be interested in going? Right? Into an uncertain future because he knows Khalistan, India will never give. Rather, he'll prefer to go out. That's why a lot of these chaps have gone to Canada and all these places. Or he'll get out of Punjab and say, okay, I live happily ever after somewhere else. So my own view is that the Hindus in Bangladesh would rather get out of Bangladesh than be in Bangladesh. That's my view. And for all you know, they might be making arrangements for that already. Right? But then they'll still be more trapped or left behind. What do you do with them? So, one way of looking at it is make a Hindu Desh. So, the first question is which is this Hindu Desh? Okay. Next thing you'll say is okay, by some method you make an enclave in Bangladesh and make a Hindu Desh out of it. Okay. Then comes who governs it? Who governs it? You see, one of the biggest problems with Bangladesh is that it's a unitary government. Yeah, please.
General Ravi Shankar, we can take the map away.
Yeah, take the map away. We don't need it.
We can
Yeah,
go back to it. Sir, first thing,
yeah.
if the Bangladeshi Muslim thinks that they are being ill-treated in India, then clearly that can be completely negated by the fact that they are still migrating to India. If you are getting such a bad fate in India, why are you migrating?
No, no, no. Look, we are not getting into that polemic.
No.
We are
Point
not.
point I'm trying to
No,
make, sir, is
no, no. Please understand. The question at hand is Hindu Desh in Bangladesh. Let's examine that. Let's examine that. Let's not, then you are saying, why are they coming to India? That's not the question. We are not discussing whether Bangladesh is a nice place to stay or not. Bangladesh is not a nice place to stay for Bangladeshis, except the privileged Bangladeshis and the rich Bangladeshis. Bangladeshis have no future. That's why they want to migrate to India or want to, jump the fence and come here. That's why they want to come do whatever they want. They have to and get an Aadhaar card and become Indian. On that, there's no doubt. I mean, there's no discussion on that, right? There's no discussion on that. Uh, there's no discussion in the fact that their logic is flawed at this point of time. I mean, that we don't have to discuss. I'll negate it. Any Bangladeshi comes, I will tell him on. And I would like to answer Bangladeshi who come on questions rather than others. But we'll look at the thing. So, as I was saying, whom you make an enclave, and wherever, whether it's in the north or the southwest, you make an enclave where those dark red play, or to to the northeast, wherever you make an enclave. What will happen to that enclave? How is it governed? The problem with Bangladesh, the problem with Bangladesh is this: Bangladesh is a unitary government. It doesn't have states. Okay, you say one state of Bangladesh is Hindu. Okay, that can happen. Everyone gravitates to that state and lives in whatever fashion they want. It doesn't happen because in Bangladesh there's no state. It's only districts. The districts are directly under the central government, the only government, the only one government, the Bangladesh government. There's no other government. So even if you make an enclave, all these enclaves will slowly get squeezed out because they will be deemed to be ghettos, and these ghettos can't survive. And this is the way all ghettos have been, what shall I say, slowly reduced over a period of time. The last ghetto of that, or last enclave, I call it enclave instead of ghetto, was the one which is done in Nagorno Karabakh, where full of Armenians in Azerbaijan. Their security was guaranteed by Russia, incidentally. And one fine day, Russia said thank you, and they were all thrown out of Nagorno Karabakh. They all had to troop back with whatever they could pick up and go to Armenia. Or you go to the bad experiment of Czechoslovakia in the post-World War II scenario. Serbs, Croats, Czechs, they all fought with each other. Kosovo. What happened? Right? At least there they had a stable, I wouldn't say stable, they had reasonably well-defined pockets which they could gravitate to, and they broke as per their ethnicities. Because to start with, those countries which were part of East Europe were unnatural countries, right? They came to some kind of a thing, and if you look at the Austro-Hungarian Empire of those days, these had shifting loyalties. One state with one empire, and the same state with another empire tomorrow, things like that, and they've gone back to that. So they went back to their natural state. So in this case, what happens to all these 13 million people there? How do they think? Because if they don't have a political say, and if they don't have a political division, right, then they're finished, right? So then you say you force create one. How do you force create it? Externally? Externally, you expect the Indian army to go there and create a state and say all Hindus come in here. And you pick them up from the entire part of this country and say you please shift there. That will be a human catastrophe, right? And that's something like that is something like a migration revisited, partition revisited, and it'll result in violence. I have no doubts about it. In today's age, will we accept the kind of violence which happened during partition here again? One has to think of all these logically. So I don't know whether a Hindu Desh can be imposed upon Bangladesh and it will survive. If it comes from within, yes, then the impetus can come from external thing. In any case, all those hotheads out here who think, oh, army will go and create a Hindu Desh and then give it to Bangladesh to live happily ever after, then all of you ladies and gentlemen and elders and young people and intelligent people are living in a fool's paradise. It will not happen. Whatever has to happen with some logic, where the Hindus are safe and the Bangladeshis are prepared to respect the outcomes of any eventuality. If that political outcome is not respected by the majority there, nothing will happen. Right? So, these are my views. I don't see, to be very honest, I don't see a Hindu Desh coming up. It's impractical. And it's impractical for the reasons I've said. It's impractical because I've read the views of Bangladeshi Hindus. Because even there's a divided opinion. After all, whether you like it or not, we think that every Bangladeshi Hindu wants to come and live happily ever after in India, or get into one of these enclaves which we are now proposing or we are creating, then I think we need to rethink the whole story. So these are my views. Uh, I don't know. I mean, the problem vexes me because the state of Hindus is not improving. In fact, it is going down. How do we approach this problem? I mean, it's a good discussion to have. Look, is Hindu Desh feasible or not? I don't see it being feasible. That's my view. How to handle this problem is something I'm prepared to discuss.
General Ravishankar, I want to go back to the same map that you put up, and I have
Yeah,
a
yeah,
counter. Let me just
yeah, yeah,
explain
please.
my viewpoint.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
How
yeah, yeah,
accurate is this, sir? How accurate is it? What timeline?
I don't know. It might be correct or wrong, but it might be off by even 20%. How does it matter? But it
Well,
can't be more than that. It can't be
okay.
more than 20% off.
So if you, actually, this map gives me a lot of hope, except for two spots. It gives me a lot of hope, and I'll tell you why. First of all, you are choosing the wrong examples in terms of saying that it hasn't worked here, it hasn't worked here. I'll take you back to West Berlin. It was a small piece of Berlin that was in the middle of East Germany.
Yeah.
Of course, you can say that US was backing it, blah blah blah. It's fine. The concept is there. Enclave concept has already been established and it's working in Israel. Yes, you have to assume a certain amount of militant training to be able to sustain and be able to ward off. I completely given that. So my 2 cents is, if the will is there, it is possible. And I'll tell you how the will come. Like you said,
Correct.
that I'm in
Before
complete
you, no, no, no,
agreement.
no, 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 wait. Let's be very clear. You said if the will is there, it will come. I agree with you. Whose will?
Yeah, I
Before
was
we
going to come to
start
that.
with it.
I was going
Whose
to come
will?
to that. I
Whose
was going to
will?
come to that. So,
Yeah.
sir, I was going to come to that. So we can take away this map. Right now, as you correctly pointed out, the Hindus in Bangladesh are divided. first they need to start thinking as one entity, and that is still coalescing, in my opinion. And people in one part are not thinking the same way as another part, and there are cross currents. Something that needs to happen, that we need something of our own, is something that has to come from within. And I don't buy that 13 million people can find refuge anywhere else, General Ravi Shankar. This number is too high. Just as I don't believe the 7 million stuck in Pakistan can come to India. It's just not possible. I don't think so. And so basically what I'm trying to say is, there has to be a model that has to be created. Hindus have to start uniting. We all are very individualistic in our thinking. In fact, we think a lot. Sometimes that itself is counter to what happens afterward, because you're not having time to react. You had 70 plus years, you had 53 plus years after you became independent. What were the Hindus doing? You didn't see this tsunami coming. Every time there was a change in government, you guys got hit. So I can make those arguments, General Ravi Shankar. The point I think I'm trying to make is, first, Hindus unite. Get behind this concept that yes, we can have a country of our own. The modalities, I see the possibilities are there. There are only 2 or 3 pockets where there is, like right in the middle of the country, that would require some work. But if they set their mind to, you have to start thinking that this is the reality and this is what we are going to work towards it. It's not going to be easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but India is right there. Unlike other places where you had to come from some distance to come and support.
What will India do?
It's not what
See,
India do. It's like carrying
no,
a
no,
big stick and talking softly, sir.
no,
Sir,
no. You
let
can
me just
do
hear me out. Carry a big stick and talk softly. Has India done that ever?
Look, the point is, yeah, I agree with you. We have never done it.
Yeah.
We have not carried a stick only to talk softly. We talk loudly with no stick. Right. I have no doubt. But the first thing which you said is, who'll build the cat? That cat has to be built by people within.
Yes.
People
Yes.
within have to coalesce. Are they prepared? I see some fellow saying, here, oh, General Ravi Shankar is negative. I see that comment. This is a thing. No, look. The point is, people don't understand. This is not an emotive discussion. This is not a party. We are not in a party headquarter where we have to do a party line. This is a discussion on the practicality of an issue or not. The first thing is, has that call come from anywhere within Bangladesh? Has the Bangladeshi Hindu, even one person, have you seen that? Look, we need a separate enclave within Bangladesh. If that fellow doesn't talk, all our talk goes for naught.
General Ravi
If
Shankar,
that
there
guy,
is.
no, look, okay, okay, I'll now transport you to Kashmir. You have to understand, many of these fellows who are talking nonsense in your channel, commenting, thinking, they should go to Kashmir. They should know what the story there is. They should go to Nagaland. They should go to Manipur and sit down and meet those people and deal with those people. Then you'll understand what I'm talking. Why is Kashmir a problem? That fellow says, I want to be separate or I want to be independent. Okay. So, what will be India's stand in Bangladesh? You are creating a Kashmir for Bangladesh. There are state issues. Okay. Or will Bangladesh agree to this whole story? Because you're looking at a constitutional response from Bangladesh. Now, the Bangladesh has to have a constitutional change, where they create a state of Hindu Desh. You didn't allow it in Kashmir. You think Bangladesh government will allow it? After all, they're not fools. Remember, they're intelligent people. There are, it's nice to say all what we are saying, but the fact is, we should know where, what is up, we are up against. It doesn't happen. Now, you very rightly said, You can't take on 13 million people from there into India. That first thing which you have said is they are on their own. You can carry a big stick, talk softly, or small stick, talk loudly. That's different. But you still have to talk from this side of the border. You can't go inside the border and talk. What is their requirement? So the problem comes from that requirement. If they have a requirement, they can become a Kashmir or Manipur or a Nagaland. If they don't have that requirement, it's a difficult affair. So we have to see this a little uh, in a holistic manner and say, okay, what do you want? The danger in India doing anything is this, that we will be seen internationally as instigating the breakup of Bangladesh. This has repercussions. It's there, whether you like it or not. And that's next door to you, right? Yeah. What we have to do for those Hindus is, no doubt, we have to do something different. If that's the ploy, look, you might as well start. If you want Bangladesh to understand and treat Hindus there well, and hence you say create Hindu Desh, I'm with you. And if it leads into Hindu Desh with the mutual happiness of between Bangladeshi Hindus and Bangladeshi Muslims, I'm still okay with it. But that has to be a movement from within. The external push can come if the internal thing starts. That's the point I'm trying to make.
General Ravi Shankar, I hear you, and I want to show a slide deck for many of our viewers who may not be
Yeah, yeah.
aware of what is going on with the power situation in Bangladesh. How many of you have heard of the name Peter Haas? He was the ambassador to Bangladesh up until recently. Can we go to the third slide, please? I'm sorry, I got the slide wrong.
In fact, in one of our discussions, I said Peter Haas is back there. He was the ambassador. The day the monsoon revolution happened, he resigned. He became the CEO of Accelerate, and he's back selling gas to Bangladesh to make his fast buck. We know that. But how do you connect it with Hindu Desh?
No. I come to that, sir. Just bear with me for a second.
Yeah, good.
See, viewers, the concept of Hindu Desh is not something that has been thought up in my mind. There is a movement that is going towards that. Right now, the Hindu in Bangladesh is too afraid to speak. So whatever General Ravi Shankar is saying that it has to come from within, it will take some time to coalesce. What we are seeing right now about ISKCON being targeted, this is a symptom where people start thinking, oh my God, ISKCON was there always whenever there were floods or any natural disasters for all of Bangladesh, and they are now being attacked. What is going to happen to us? So that is going to happen. There could be, this is not coming out yet, General Ravi Shankar, but you have to be a little bit patient. I'm not speaking in a vacuum here. I know what I'm talking about. And here is the challenge for US also. What is Accelerate? Go back to first slide, please. What is Accelerate? How many of you know this company? This is a power company. And when you start peeling a little bit off, next slide, please. This is the guy who was the ambassador, and now he's gone and joined Accelerate as an advisor. Some say he is really the CEO. The question here is, what is Accelerate? Who is funding Accelerate? If you start looking at that, you will start seeing that there is a Chinese link. So what is happening right now is, here is an American ambassador who was not long ago talking pro-America. He's shifting 180 degrees. So it's not going to be easy. At the same time, America will understand what some of its own citizens are up to. One ambassador actually is spending time in jail. He was the ambassador to Pakistan, of all places. So a lot of stuff is happening, General Ravi Shankar. Now we can take away.
I know that. Here you're telling me a lot of stuff is happening all over. You're telling me, don't I know that? So look, the point again is that How does this connect to Hindu Desh? It doesn't.
No, it will, because it will,
It might.
because
No, no,
sir,
no. We
sir,
are
you hit the nail on the head. Sir, I'll agree with you on one thing. You hit the nail on the head. India doesn't carry a big stick and speak softly. I completely agree. That is the thing that they need to develop.
no. That's a thing. That's okay. The point is, I think the first thing is that we have to see how do we help the Hindus out. Logically. I mean, like I said, I'm not against the proposal to evaluate, because in the geopolitics you evaluate everything, even if it's a bad option, you evaluate it. That's what we've done. And rather than saying no, we don't come to a conclusion without evaluating a thing. So we've done that evaluation. What does that evaluation tell you at this point of time? Look, it's not a great idea which is feasible at this point of time. I'm not saying it's a good idea or a bad idea. No, it's not. It's an idea which is not feasible at this point of time. It's not an idea which is feasible at this point of time because the people there have to first have a felt need that I need a Hindu Desh, right? Right. In the event of that felt need not coming up, then what happens? So you have to see as to how do you reach out to those people and how do you help them, right? That is the thing which I think India has to do that. Yeah, that could be a matter of coercion, it could be diplomatic, it could be posturing, it could be many things, right? Fine, that Peter has or whoever that ass is, right? He was part of the democratic setup, and you say now he has got links to China. I think we need to expose him and throw him out. And if we have to take military action against that company, so be it. You don't have to take military action overtly, you can do it covertly also. Is there a case for India and USA to now cooperate and say, let's deal with Bangladesh together? There's a long thing. After all, people in USA are also now saying what's happening to Hindus in Bangladesh is not good. Right? So can we get this thing going? I see someone says, here, oh, we are from Israel and we'll support Bangladesh. Who's bothered about Israel and Bangladesh? The average man on the street in Bangladesh is not bothered about Israel, and Israel has got no, terraformer to stand on in Bangladesh. So that kind of a logic won't work. We need solid logic. Can we get Russia into the bargain? We're talking of only USA. USA is not the only one who runs the world. Can you get Russia into the bargain? Can you get countries like Maldives? Can you get countries like Bhutan? Can you get countries like Nepal? Can you get countries like Sri Lanka into the bargain to talk, for on this issue? Can you get ASEAN to talk? So there are other methods. Have we gone that route? So far, no. Okay. Can you do economic coercion? Can you do economic cooperation? So that means it's a push-pull kind of a thing. They say, if you want to catch a salmon, right? You don't just put a hook and pull it in. You have to play it. You have to play this game. Do we have a clear idea as to how to play this game? Right? This is not going to be an easy affair. No human issue will be an easy affair. I mean, having dealt with these issues on ground, when you start dealing with people, then you understand. When you start dealing with the rickshawalas there or the pan seller over there, when you start dealing with the locals, then you start understanding that place. One can get a fair idea about all this. So that is what we have to do at this point of time. How do you prevent? How do you make sure that the political process in Bangladesh goes on the right track rather than going the way it is going? There, can you put some military pressure? Yes. I mean, all these. many of these things need not be, cannot be even discussed on open media like this. Definitely, there are methods. So this is what we have to really think of. There is an international forum which we have not yet started. All of us hate that, what's that, Amnesty International. Let them loose now on Bangladesh. They'll do the trick for you. Normally, we don't like them. We don't allow Amnesty International to operate anywhere in India. But for this sake, send that Greta Thunberg or someone, that who all those toolkits. भेज दो उनको, वो sort out करेंगे यार बांग्लादेश को, हम क्यों कर रहे हैं? There's no, in this game, there's no permanent friend or foe. You get them all and divert them, give them a one-way ticket to Bangladesh and tell them where you start off. So there are many things which we can do, but that's up to the government to do. And we need to give a view to the government, that we want you to do this. And that's all I think at this point of time we can do. What happens later, we'll see.
Thank you, sir. We have a lot of questions. Maybe a lot
Yeah,
more
we'll
come
take.
out of the
Yeah,
questions.
we'll take. Yeah, we'll take.
I hope
No
you have
problem.
some time, sir, because we have a lot.
Yeah, I have time. I have a lot of time and I have a lot of questions. I'll answer.
Okay, Shankaracharya, I know it's not your real name. WKT, I don't know what that means. It's a trap of deep state, but now we cannot escape the trap. Why can't we face it? Why Modi is not willing to stop Hindu genocide in Bangladesh? Why army is not pressuring Modi for orders?
Okay. Yeah, all this you should ask Modi. Why are you asking us? What can both Iyer and Shankar do? Modi से पूछो यार. ठीक है ना, उनसे पूछिए. वो है प्रधानमंत्री इस देश के. वो आपको जवाब देंगे.
Bhaskar Verma wants to know, Shankar and Iyer, sir, Jai Hind, are today's conditions feasible for the Indian military action in Bangladesh, or covert means should be preferred, or both in synchronized manner like in 1971?
What will, see, my question, and to everyone, it's a rhetoric question. What will Indian Army do in Bangladesh? It can march up to Dhaka, and then what? Will it change the constitution? Will it change the people? It's the will of the people. It's the will of the people which created Bangladesh. Right? You'll go conquer Dhaka and all, you'll rule Dhaka. If you're prepared to do that, that's a different story. Okay? And face all that crap which will follow. We can do that. But is that what we want to do? Please understand, we are a nation which is progressing. If you do all this nonsense, you'll regress. Is that what you want? From $3.7 trillion, you'll come down to 3. Straight away. I mean, let's not have a doubt. What's the repercussion of doing this? Any nonsense of going into Bangladesh with your tanks up? Your tanks will go, you'll come back. Tanks you'll leave there because after that you can't use them. And you have to replace them with new tanks. That itself will cost you. So there are costs involved in doing everything. Okay, there's no synchronized manner in this. What is feasible is covert methods. And you don't have, don't use a sword in an operation. If you use a sword in an operation, delicate operation like this, you will kill the person. You need a scalpel. So what are the scalpels which are required to carry out this operation? To stem the flow of blood, or take out a weak artery or whatever, or repair. That's what we have to think of.
Satya wants to know, chicken neck problem will be solved in this juncture, sir?
Yeah, chicken neck will be solved, your neck will be cut. That's about all will happen. Let the chicken have its neck. Yeah, don't worry, we'll handle the chicken neck. Look, again, people should look at any problem. This is my way of looking at it, from 360 degrees. That Rubik's Cube, which your child handles? Try it someday. When I was young, I used to handle it and do it. I used to do that Rubik's Cube in a couple of minutes. Okay, of course, now I don't do it. But the fact is that teaches you how to look at 6 sides of a problem. Never look at a problem from one side. Look at it from 6 sides. Yeah.
Next one, please. JB underscore JP wants to know 1947 Hindu Sikh genocide Holocaust, 1971 Bengali massacre primarily of Bengali Hindus, 1990s Kashmiri Hindu genocide. Question: are we witnessing the fourth Hindu genocide in Bangladesh? How to stop it?
Yeah, this is a good question. JBJP, you've been missing in action for a long time. So I think you got bored of gunner shot and sensible talks and all that. Anyway, that's okay. That's a different story. Are we visiting the fourth Hindu genocide? We might. I don't think it's gone to the genocide level at this point of time. We might. How to stop it? Is those issues which I said, you push pull. You start handling Bangladesh like a salmon. And I'll also tell you, Bangladesh won't respond to Indian outreaches. You have to have a indirect approach. Like I said, you might like to try ASEAN, you might like to try USA, you might not like to try Russia, you might like to try anything. And you also have to ensure that how do you keep the Chinese out and the Pakistanis out. There are many methods of doing it, but we have to be at it. And we have to be conscious of the fact that those Hindus are today at the, you know, at the edge of a genocide. Already there are certain, clashes which have taken place between Hindus and Muslims out there. It's happened already, right? And who knows, they might themselves become militant tomorrow. But people, after all, they are Bangladeshis, right? So at that time, we'll see. There are methods to stop it. So let us see as things evolve. At this point of time, you have only indirect methods. Direct methods will come later.
Next one, please. Gupt Achar. Namaskaram, General Ravi Shankar and Sree. Will the creation of Hindu Desh carved out of Bangladesh not sow the seed for another partition of India on religious lines?
Yeah, possible. You must understand the repercussions in India itself. That's why I told you. People will start questioning what are you doing there, we'll do here. So you have to understand these things and handle it. But I don't think, the way I look at it, India is beyond this stage. You see, the conditions in Bangladesh and the conditions in India are far different. Right? And thankfully, the way Pakistan is going is a mirror for everyone. And the minorities in India understand the repercussions of thinking of another partition. And the same way, I mean, you see if you look at it, let's look at it, the Muslim separation is what we are talking of. Let's be very clear about it. Just as the Hindus in Bangladesh can't separate out of that nation, the Muslims in India can't be separated. There's no place where they are, in one state, they are a Muslim state, except in Kashmir. And there we have had this problem. We're just about trying to solve this problem. The moment you do anything in Bangladesh, that problem will firstly go out of your hand and other things will start up. And it's not only religious lines. Don't forget, you will start an ethnic problem in the Northeast. That is worse. Yato you will handle Muslims. You will not be able to handle those ethnic issues. I mean, you have to be there to understand what it is. I've had 4 tenures out there. 4 tenures is about 10 years, right from captain to brigadier. You will not be able to handle it. So far, 75 years of independence, we have not solved the Naga problem. That Manipur problems keeps coming back. I'm sure in this channel you have discussed the Christian state which is going to come up in Tripura and all the nonsense places. Can you handle it? Have you people gone across into Tripura and stayed there? And you know what the subterranean movements are ethnically. That will fracture first. You do anything to Bangladesh externally, the fracture will start there, not here. Yeah.
Next one, please. Surmai wants to know, sir, we have to do something. We can't be helpless watchers.
I agree with you. I've given you so many options. You go and sit in Bangladesh and start fighting for their independence. That's all I can advise you. When you say we, okay, I have always believed in these issues. I don't talk of we. What can I do? So what can you do, Mr. Surmai? Instead of just asking me this question, what can you do? You tell me what you can do. Will you go and sit in Dhaka and put up a janda and say, make Hindu Desh? Right? So this is a practicality. I'm sure none of you will do it. Show me one person who will say, I'm tomorrow catching a flight to Dhaka. I'll go sit down and put a placard just outside Dhaka International Terminal. To say, yeah, Hindu Desh, all Hindus come around me and we'll make a Hindu Desh. Try. Yeah.
Thank you, Sunny Reddy, for your super sticker. Subramanian Vedam wants to know, Sriji, you're doing a great service. I'm a great fan of your channel. Please accept my hearty and sincere thanks to you. Thank you so much, Subramanian. I'm
Thank
just
you.
evoking thought here. We need to
Yeah,
think
yeah,
first.
yeah. Doing good. Yeah, yeah.
Maithili wants to know, Shankarji, actually it should be General Shankarji, can the government give them refugee status and house them in refugee camp?
We can, but will they want to come? The point is, it's not come to that level, no? Actually,
Maithili, that's, yeah.
Actually, no, let me. I think she's asked a very intelligent question. If that happens, then you can pressurize Bangladesh on human rights conditions. Let's say 100 Bangla Hindus come out and say we want to be refugee. You create a refugee camp, and then you can go to all around the world and say, look what's happening in Bangladesh. That might be a better answer, but that condition has to happen.
I heard that something like that is already in effect, but it's not come out
Maybe.
yet. Yeah.
Maybe it'll come out. It'll see if that's happened, it'll come out naturally.
Yeah. By the way, viewers, it's not like the government is sitting idle. Sometimes you cannot reveal your plans. Maybe it is actually going to start speaking softly, having
We
discovered the
don't
big
know.
thing
I
it
mean,
has.
we are just discussing. This is
Yeah,
at best a intellectual discussion. That's about all. Yeah.
correct. Shritik Kothari wants to know, sir, would any type of intervention, let's say indirect because of our policies, have any effect on these radicals? I feel they are taking us lightly and think we won't act against them.
I don't think that's the case. There would be effect. Let's be optimistic that we have the capability to affect other people. I don't think so. Sometime back when I used to do these things on Bangladesh, videos on Bangladesh, they used to say, oh, China will sort you out here. Oh. After the disengagement, the China factor has gone out of the equation. Even people stop talking of Pakistan also. So you can change behavior of people. People's behavior changes if the situation changes. Right? So who knows? There might be some flood or disaster and all. There might, a lot of things happen.
Then there's a concept here that can be employed. Viewers, one thing you have to remember, there'll be 100 Muslims in a riot. 99 will actually be not ones instigating. There'll be one guy who would have instigated it. You need to understand how that process is starting. And you go take out that part, because these people have lived for hundreds of years together. See, this is where that external element, the one that is the actionable person, that requires intelligence work. I'm sure something like that is happening or going to happen, and you will start seeing the results not too far away. Just my 2 cents.
Yeah.
NN wants to know, sir, what is the count of Hindus the Indian government is waiting to be murdered in Bangladesh to take Hindu genocide issue seriously and act decisively?
Hey, I want to know what's this idea of seriousness and decisiveness. I mean, we should ask counter question. It's nice to ask this question, and then what is your concept of decisive action? What do you expect the government of India to do? That's a question. No, everyone wants the government of India to do something. What is that decisive action? See, why I'm asking you this question is, Okay, I told you we'll invade Bangladesh. Then what happens? Will it ameliorate the status of Hindus? Will it help them out? You can't create a separate nation. You can't create a separate Hindu Desh. I've told you why. There are, domino effects on Northeast and domino effects all around. So how do you expect the government to take decisive action? And what do you expect the government to do? यार देखो, तुम्हारा घर में जब आग लगने वाला है ना, दूसरे के घर में जाके आग मत बुझाना. First ensure before you go there that ये तुम्हारा घर में आग नहीं लगेगा. Your house shouldn't catch fire when you're trying to put fire to the other chap's house or douse fire in the other chap's house, whatever you want to do. Okay, so that's the point. Yeah.
Next question. Srinivas Kampampati says, General Ravi Shankar, Namaste Sriyarji. I heard that there is no middle class in Bangladesh, only rich and poor. Is it true?
Maybe. This is a question which I have not really addressed. I'll get into it, Srinivas. Next time, either in Ganashot or in Pigurus, when you ask this question, I'll give you an answer. Sorry,
Right.
I can't answer this question at this time.
Amitesh Behra wants to know, sorry for asking out of syllabus questions. Who is behind drone above US bases in UK?
I've not understood the question.
Oh, really out of syllabus. We don't know. Sanjal, thank you so much. Sanjay, thank you so much. Millie Bhattacharya, thank you so much. Sree sir, thanks for this podcast. Yes, somebody has to start thinking through some of these.
Yeah,
things.
we'll
We all
think.
get
There's no harm in
emotionally
thinking.
invested in this, right? Somebody has to think it through. So yes, but there is a problem. How do we tackle it? And we are giving you some of the reality situations. And one point he's absolutely spot on, General, is that first make sure your house won't catch fire before you go and help the neighbor's house fire. Very, very true. Very true. Joshua Chime wants to know, if there is no will among the Hindus in Bangladesh, then it would be a challenge to establish Hindu Desh.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt at all. Look,
I
get the feeling that the Hindus in Bangladesh don't want to move from their area to any other area within Bangladesh. They prepared. Some of them are prepared to get out of the country. That's one state, one lot. But the others are not prepared to move, say, from southwest to north. That will be a migration. That will be like partition type, And Bangladesh will get shaken up if that has to happen. For that to happen, the conditions are not there as it. Look, let me also tell you, you go into the history of nations. Whenever nations have been created and whenever nations have been obliterated, there is a certain amount of genocide goes with it. I don't like it, but that's a hard reality. In every time a new nation is born and a new nation is finished off, there is loss of life. It happened when Israel was created, because all of us are now talking of Israel. You see what's happening in Ukraine, a new nation is being made. See how many people for the past 3 years have been suffering. See what's the end result. If tomorrow Trump comes, he'll tell Russia, you keep that part which you have occupied. And so Ukraine will be a new nation altogether. Isn't it? So how many people have died? It's not an easy thing. That the whole nation has been, So something similar. And what happened to Germany? How many people have died in the concentration camps? In those concentration camps, it was not only the death of Jews, it was the death of Polish people, this people, that people. So many people died. What happened during the American Civil War? I mean, you should read the American Civil War to understand what happened. What happened when the American nation came into being? And how many indigenous Americans, whom we used to call Red Indians, were killed? If you go and speak to any one of these people on the reservations, I've gone and spoken. That's why I'm talking. Okay. You'll see their stories. Today, that indigenous native Indian might be driving in a Ford or something like that. But if you really go and sit and talk with them, he'll give you a story. Forget about all this. Forget about all this. I'll give you something else. You go to USA, you see, you read pre-Civil War USA of the frontier. People used to go on bison hunt and this hunt and that hunt. Oh, the last time I went to USA, in the middle of USA, Midwest USA, people said, "Sir, this is bison country." I said, "Yeah, bison country. So दिखाओ तो सही bison कहाँ है?" After 1 hour of driving all around the bison country, we found one bison. People have changed. People, it's not only people. Wildlife has also been exterminated. So there are a lot of issues. It's not just simple that one nation becomes. You look at our own country. How many people died during partition before the country was made? And to keep the sanctity of the country, how many people have died? Right? How many? So it's not so easy. Yeah, please.
Next one, please. Chirantan Saha wants to know, this is for Sree, you are saying India must do something as Hindus are targeted in Bangladesh. I agree with you, but should it be India's position if, let's say, only Indian Muslims are targeted there? Should we bother? Your views?
Yeah. Any Indian who's targeted there, we should talk of. Why Muslims? As far as the Indian national and he's targeted there, then we have a right to talk. You see, there's a difference between advocating for Hindu Bangladeshis and talking for Indian Muslims. The Indian Muslim is you're Indian. He's a passport holder of India. You have the right to talk for him. Okay, and not otherwise. And for those of you who have a different ideology, just think over. You had a president, Abdul Kalam, who's been a Muslim. Okay, so not all Muslims are bad, and in fact, many of them are good. I've served under that gentleman. I've had the pleasure of serving under him. I don't know how many of you understand what I'm talking. Also, yeah, I knew him when he was not a president. When I could sit across the table with him and discuss something and have a cup of coffee with him, and I've had done that. Okay, when you talk with great people and all things, your mind changes. So you have to think differently. Yeah.
By the way, viewers, there is a video in P Gurus with of General Ravi Shankar reminiscing about 2 or 3 individuals that he has worked with. One was Abdul Kalam, the other was Manohar Parikar. I think those are the two we discussed, right,
Yeah.
sir? Two people. Do watch that. It's very important. Very, very important.
I mean,
It
let me
rounds
tell
out
you.
your
Let me tell you. Those of you who don't know, now that you triggered something in me. Dr. Abdul Kalam, when he came to Hyderabad, he he was a bachelor. He was a man of very few interests except work. But one interest he developed was in Telugu Sangeet, music. And he liked Tyagraj Kirtanas. Many of you won't know what Tyagraj Kirtana is. Okay, it's typical hardcore Telugu, uh, Sanskritized Telugu, pure distilled, Hinduistic, whatever you call it, religious, but it is beautiful. It carries a lot of meaning. He liked those kirtanas. He didn't know Telugu, and this man learned Telugu to enjoy them. And his worldly possession was a tape recorder, 2 in 1. In the moment, 2 in 1 was a great thing. And he used to put a tape and listen to only Tyagraj Kirtanas. Here was a Muslim man who learned Telugu to know about Tyagraj Kirtanas, and that was the only form of entertainment he knew. So you're looking at different things in life. Okay, yeah.
next question, please. Sunil Ganju, thank you so much. India has not helped its own people in Kashmir in 90s.
Yeah, I agree with you to a certain extent. I don't agree to you with a certain extent. Having served in Kashmir, I do understand when you see films like Kashmir Files and all, there's a lot of truth in it. But India was a different country at that point of time. You have to understand that. Let me be very blunt about it. We were a weak country. There are a lot of things could be done in this country. got away with. But I think a nation has changed, and since then we have done a lot. And people change, nations change, and you should have the guts within you and the honesty within us to say yes, we didn't do well, and we didn't do well at that point of time. It is not only for Kashmiris; we didn't do well by many people at that point of time. I'm being very honest about it. Yeah.
Next one, please. Thank you, Vishi Ramalingam. Thank you, Ram Susarla. Sree Narayan wants to know, sir, we should call out all illegal Bangladeshi Muslims out of India, else 14 trillion economy will be a waste. Will without Hindus left.
Yeah, I agree with you completely, but how do you do it? I'll tell you, no, people talk. I'll give you an example. You go to Delhi. There's one place near Hazrat Nizamuddin. Right? I'm telling you the place also. There's a lot of poor people stay there. That's a staging area for Bengalis or Bangladeshis. They come into some place. From there, they are assigned to some other place. They go and work as menial labor. They'll go into some residential colony. How the thing operates? They go into some residential colony, okay, and become a maid servant or small thing. Because being a maid servant in a colony means someone says, okay, give them a pass. So a pass is made by the residential, thing, because you need people to work in your house and all that. So that with that pass is given temporary pass. So the temporary pass has to be converted into a permanent pass. So they have to get police verification. So then they had said, okay, you go to that police station and get your verification done. But these people say, no, that fellow will, ask so much money, this, that, and all that. So the deal is stuck through some of the middlemen who are already there. The Bangladeshi he's no more a Bangladeshi because that fellow is an Indian. He'll go and do a deal with that policeman. The money is exchanged. This is all a well-oiled thing, right? And that fellow gives police verification for this person from Bangladesh. It's done by us, not from England. No one from USA does it. No one from South Africa does it. It's done in Delhi. And this is replicated all over. So once he gets a police verification, he's got this thing. Some next, this go and pay for Aadhaar. Gets Aadhaar. Then he gets voting rights. He's become Indian citizen. How can you throw him out? It takes time, but it happens. That is why Mr. Amit Shah and Mr. Narendra Modi went to Jharkhand and say, we'll take every Bangladeshi out. I'll challenge, let them send one person back.
Very true.
You go outside Siliguri. I've seen this not now. I've seen this 15 years back, not even 15, 20 years back, 25 years back. Yeah, 1999, 2000, 25 years back. Outside Siliguri, there are all hutments. There's a ring road on Siliguri. You go along the ring road, they're all hutments and chawls and small. They're all full of Bangladeshis. It's a staging area. So we have to understand where we are. What is India? Sree Narayan, I don't know where you are here. I don't know whether you are in a big city, a small city, a village, or a chawl, or in England, or in London, or in North Antarctic. You have to understand what happens down below to give out all this thing. We should throw out all illegal Bangladeshis. How will you do it? In India? That's a bigger question. The problem is not outside. The problem is India. We have to know where we are living. Okay. I'm sure Sree Iyerji has not heard this story before. The reality of India is something far different from what happens, from out. When you land into Chennai airport and, the person waiting for you and saying, come, I'll stamp your passport, go, you catch Uber and go. This is one India. There's a different India. Yeah.
Next question, please. Arjuna Uvacha wants to know, respected General Sir, could you propose 3 actionables to put your plan in action? Thank you.
Yeah, very simple. I've given you more than that. Yeah, you start putting economic pressure. Okay, they have to survive on your electricity. They have to survive on your gas. They have to survive on milk. They have to survive on eggs. They have to survive on eggs. Eggs incidentally go from Andhra to Bangladesh. Okay, they survive on everything. You have water control over them. Everything you have. So talk. You put talk through. I told you, give a executive class ticket to Greta Thunberg and tell her to go and land in Bangladesh International Airport. Give her a 5-star. Stay there and tell her to talk there. Or all those fellows who spoke during those, that farmers movement, toolkits. So a lot of things you can do, covert and overt. Yeah.
Thank you, Joshua Chime, for your super sticker. Well, that concludes another thought-provoking session, in my opinion. General Ravi Shankar, thank you so much, sir. I sprung this topic on you very, very late,
No,
but you are up to the task. One slide did the whole trick. Thank you so much, sir. Viewers, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. This video is one reason why you want to watch our programs. Subscribe to whether you're watching it on Ganashot or on P Gurus. It'll broaden your vision. It's not so easy. The point that we have both looked at is it's not so easy. Although conceptually there is something that is possible. Some things are happening, but you have to be patient. And like General said, economic boycott is a very potent tool. So we'll see how this plays out. Thank you so much, sir. Namaskar.
Namaskar.